Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nat from Nat's Numbers, also known as the Numerology Chick over on Instagram. And in this week's video, we are going to be diving headfirst into how to heal from our relationship with our parents with the numbers, with the ancient wisdom of numerology. I got this video idea from Ellie on my last YouTube video. Hi Ellie! Your comment, your inquiry was so beautiful and so profound, and Ellie was basically asking about ancestral numerology and family numerology, which is a very complex, multi-layered category of this work. But I thought, what is the one topic that I could cover that would be the most transformational, that would actually help you tap more into your power, your magic, your confidence as a capable creator of your life? And this is it. How to heal from our relationship with our parents. So in this video, I'm going to go into the 3 steps that I take clients through who are feeling stuck. They're feeling insecure about stepping into their authenticity, about breaking away from the norms within the family unit. They're feeling that they might even be sabotaging themselves and their success because of these woundings from the past. If that is you, please stay tuned. If you are enjoying these Friday morning uploads and you want more of this content, it helps out so much when you share the love. Like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell. Thank you for being here with me on this super cool journey. So I'm going to do timestamps for each one of these components because I'm going to cover a lot of ground, okay? So you can click on the description box if you want to just move to the thing you're interested in. But first of all, I need to cover what I mean when I say heal from your relationship with your parents. What I mean is healing any wounding or misunderstanding about yourself that you've internalized because of your relationship with them, okay? Now, healing your relationship with your parents is so incredibly important. You might not even be conscious of how much you hold yourself back because of this wounding or these misunderstandings, but let me tell you, pretty much every single client that comes to me in my private practice, this is something that we cover. Our loyalty to our parents means that instead of stepping into our true divine design, like our superpowers, instead of doing that, what we do instead is we maintain a loyalty to who we think our parents wanted us to be, or an aversion to who our parents didn't want us to be. And the problem with this is that we can waste decades of our lives, and we can actually withhold our loved ones and the world from our incredible gifts simply because we are waiting for our parents to finally show up for us, love us, understand us, accept us, advocate for us, or truly witness us. Numerology can actually help you develop an awareness and a clarity about yourself and how to heal these wounds so that you can break generational cycles and so that you can be a role model within your family unit of what it looks like to live a unique and one-of-a-kind, well-lived life. So let's dive in to these 3 steps. Step number 1 is going to make you think that this video is clickbait, and it isn't, okay? But listen, the first step, the foundational step to heal from your relationship with your parents is to focus on your own numbers. You have to do this one first. If you don't do this one first, the other ones are going to backfire. I got to tell you, I've learned this after a decade of doing this work. People will come to me, and people that have a propensity to focus on other people's numbers are people that never ever truly heal from the woundings that are inevitable. And they never step into their true potential and power. So you need to focus on your own numbers. Not focusing on our own numbers or our own inner design is really the root of all relationship dysfunction, no matter where that dysfunction falls on a spectrum, right? So one side of the spectrum could simply be that you had parents or guardians that just misunderstood you, like you just didn't have a lot in common, right? But the other side of the spectrum is possibly having parents or guardians that wound you so severely, like psychological, physical, sexual abuse, outright abandonment, right? But no matter where your experience falls on that spectrum, focusing on your own numbers is the foundational solution to healing, right? Because ultimately the problem has always been that you did not have somebody in your life that honored your own design and advocated for it. So what we have to do, step one, is we have to develop that self-awareness, and we have to become the cheerleader, the best friend, the advocate for ourselves. We have to become that person. I remember when I learned about my numbers, it was one of the most empowering moments of my life. I'll give you an example. I'm an 8 life path. And one of the things that 8s are attracted to, no matter where it falls in your chart, 8s are typically attracted to power. And I was really attracted to the military. I was such an interesting kid. I was obsessed with military movies, and I started to train to be a pilot because I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I even went to the local Army surplus store. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. And I got a Marine Corps baseball cap, like it said Semper Fi on it. And I would wear that hat as I rollerbladed around town. My family did not understand like who I was, you know. They still don't. My family doesn't even know what I do. They don't understand what I do. I don't think that they could care about what I do because I'm so different from them. But when I did my numbers and I saw that I was an 8 and that a part of my mission is about being attracted to power and authority and accumulating power and sharing it with others, I realized why this was a thematic, right? By learning about my numbers, I was actually able to develop a language that helped me understand my gifts, my uniqueness, so that I can then actually advocate for it. I think that we oftentimes are waiting for someone, not just our parents, but our spouse, a friend, a teacher. We're waiting for someone to witness us. We're waiting for someone to advocate for us, and that's our job. You know, it's our job now as adults. Preferably it's the job of a healthy parent, but it's just not always the case. So focus on your own numbers first. That's the key. And I recommend like actually doing this for a period of time, right? So if you are finding that you're really triggered by your parents, you have a difficult time being around family members, you're having a hard time moving forward and stepping into like a new relationship or elevating your experience in finance or in career or breaking out of the mold of family, highly recommend investing time and energy in your own numbers. Okay, there's a link always in the description box to get a free report over on numerologist.com. It's an affiliate link. I don't do the reports, but they're incredibly accurate and I love their stuff. There's also a link to work with me one-on-one if that's something that you want to invest in, as a deep transformational VIP coaching package. But now let's dive into the next 2 steps. The next 2 steps are around learning about your parents' numbers, okay? So step 2 is to look at your parents' numerology chart. And in particular, I want you to just focus on their core numbers, okay? Life path, expression, heart's desire, and personality. In step 2, I want you to focus on the similarities of their numbers and yours, okay? This is what I do in session with clients. Now, it could be that your dad has a 5 life path and you have a 5 heart's desire. They can be in different positions, but take note of numbers that you guys share in common. They can be in the same position. You guys both have a 7 life path, okay? Doesn't matter. Take note of the numbers that you guys share in common. This is very, very important to take note of the numbers that you share in common, because oftentimes there is a revelation here. One would think that if our parent and guardian had a similar number in their chart, that in an ideal world, they would have been a mentor or a guide in that thematic of life, right? Hold on, I'm going to cough. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes our parents are these incredible role models, like is the case for, what was the name of the woman? She's an 8 life path, and she was the founder and CEO of Spanx. Oh, I can't remember her name. But anyway, one of the things that she attributes to her success, to being one of the wealthiest women in the United States, is that her father taught her how to be a CEO businesswoman, right? So some of us are lucky to have that. And if that's you, take note. Take note of the positive things that that parent who shares that similar number taught you about how to honor and advocate for this incredible mission or gift, right? But sometimes what happens when a parent shares a number is that you develop an aversion to accepting that number in your own chart. Because a lot of people, we're all flawed, instead of being in the higher function of the number, are in the lower function of the number. Hold on. Sorry about that. So sometimes what happens is that our parents are not in the higher function. They're in the lower function. So we develop an aversion to that number in our own chart. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you had a father that is a 5 life path, and you have a 5 in your core chart, right? But he was on the lower function of the 5. He was an escape artist. He skirted his responsibilities and obligations. He was a hedonist, an addict, right? Fill in the blank. So you are going to possibly reject that number in your chart. You're going to reject, for instance, if it was your expression number, a fundamental aspect of your inner nature and your divine gifts, okay? If you had a mom who, was a 1 and she was in the lower function, in codependency, staying small, right? You might actually, when you have a 1 in your chart, have an incredible aversion to that number, to independence, to self-sufficiency, a fear that if you were to embrace that something bad might happen. So when you look for similarities, you can basically ask yourself, if you share similar numbers with your parent, ask yourself, what did you learn from them works or is positive about this number? But also, what did you learn doesn't work from watching them or observing them? What have you learned could possibly be an aversion to that number? And that's something that we dive into in coaching. But those are some of the questions that I typically ask people to chew on. So the next step then is to take your parents' numbers and to look at the differences, which this is a little bit, there's more subtlety here, right? There's more complexity as well. Looking for the differences is really, really important. This is where there's a lot of healing, because the little child in us wants to please our parents by being more like them. But that's what keeps sabotaging us left and right in relationships and career and just general satisfaction and happiness. And so when we look for differences and we actually validate the differences with the numbers, you perhaps for the first time in your life are able to finally understand why there was possible discord, possible misunderstandings, fill in the blank, right? So you would look for differences, for instance, in the life path, right? I remember a client of mine had a dad that was a 4 life path, and the 4 is pragmatic and about stability and about even to a certain degree, like following the rules, right? Being within an institution and thriving within an institution, survival, right? That's the lower function, but it's still there. And she, for the life of her, could not figure out why she was struggling so much. When she learned that he was a 4, tears, just tears. She's a 3 life path. The 3 and the 4 could not be more different, 2 completely different missions in life, right? The 3 is this creative, artistic, sparkly unicorn mission, you know, very different from the 4's mission of being the builder and being strong and building a solid foundation, you know. That difference, noticing that difference, was enough to finally give herself permission to pursue her great work and to change careers. So look for these differences between you and your mom and dad, or you and your guardians, and even write them down. Write down these differences, presence them, right? It can sometimes even help, as long as you do step 1 and you honor your numbers first, it can even help to discover what the lower function of your parents' numbers is, because it can actually help you understand that the way that they may have treated you, or the general discord that you experienced with them, was not personal, that it was just a part of their unique spiritual DNA and them grappling with their own acceptance of who they are. So these are the 3 steps to heal from your relationship with your parents, and they are, by the way, in order. So step number 1, focus on your own numbers. If you focus on their numbers first, you're perpetuating the unhealthy codependent behavior. Step 1, focus on your own numbers. Step 2, notice the similarities and ask yourself, what did you learn about this number from your parent? What positive and negative things did you learn? And step 3, notice and presence the differences. What are the different numbers? How are you guys different? And how can you then, knowing that, develop a new awareness about who you are and who they are? This is a lot. I gave you a lot to chew on. So if you want more on ancestral or family numerology, please comment below and tell me, what are the questions that you have? Get as specific as you can so I know exactly what is on your mind. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you, Ellie, again for your awesome comment, and I'll talk with you guys again next week.